Well, as you can tell, Fairy Garden is the title of this webisode and of a brand new collection by Hot Off the Press. But let me show you something that Teresa has made. How pretty is that? Okay, please come play with us. Well, let me show you all the things that are in this collection. So as always, we have a 12 by 12 paper pack, although this is cardstock and is the heavier weight cardstock. This is a 78 pound. There are 12 designs and you're going to also get 46 cutouts. Now there's also the coordinating solid cardstock, which is going to go perfectly with all the papers. You have 2 each of 8 colors on 12 sheets, 12 by 12 also. Then of course we have the same collection in a 6 by 6 version. This one has 24 sheets with 92 cutouts. Well, that will go a long way. Also, we have the die cuts. There are 31. They are on 2 different sheets. When you go to any of these product pages at paperwishes.com, you'll see a video that I did showing you every single sheet and everything that's in them. Now, we also have the chipboard, and the chipboard has 26 pieces and so many things that you can do, as Teresa will show us, but there's also a project on the back. In fact, that's true of everything. Now, we also have a cutting die, and this is a large fairy. She's 4 inches by 4¼ inches. So she's a nice size, and you will see her used in a project. I do need to tell you that she is in very limited supply, so just so that you know. Now, because fairies, at least in my fairy world, they are tiny fairies, so we do have Dazzles. So we've got them in black, and I know that that might just look like a black blob, so I've removed the backing just so that you can see all of those really charming girls. And then we also have a never before seen set, and these come in a variety of colors. As a matter of fact, there are 6 sheets in 6 different colors, just to give you an idea of all of those colors, in pearls and in glittering, so that will go a long way also. Now let's set these aside, and I will bring in the first card that Teresa has done, and she's done 5. But you know what, before I do that, let me show you a scrapbook page, because I just don't want our scrapbookers to feel like they're getting short shift. So this is the one that is on the back of the package. You can see the papers, and Debbie has done this. She did take a penknife and just went around of some of the flowers to lift them up, and then she tucked her large mat underneath, put her photos, added some of the die cuts, and colored in some of the chipboard too. So really pretty, and added some ribbon, as you can see. That's a great one. Looks to me like this was done at Disneyland with Tinkerbell. So that's a fun thing to have. Now, but you don't have to have Tinkerbell to help you with this, and we'll show you. Now, this is a 5 by 6½ inch card, and let me put this on a white backing so that you can see it a little bit better. And what Teresa has done is she has used black cardstock in with this, and she also used our black glimmer glitter paper. So you get, let me see, I think there's 4 sheets in here. They're 8½ by 11. And you can see how you're going to get a shine with that. So just right along the edge. So she has matted the sheet on this, and she has started with the 6 by 6. So let me show you the sheet that she began with. It's this one. And you can see those beautiful jewels at the top. So she trimmed that down to go on the front of her card. And then she used 2 papers to create 2 offsetting mats, and I think that's a really good look. So this one she has used right here, and just cut that part, matted it on the black. And then she took this one, which was the first one in the package. She didn't go into that little fairy, but she did use the rest of it, almost right up to that, to create this piece, matted it on black, and then overlapped them and glued them to the front of her card. Just a really nice look. Now, she did use the black ribbon set, and there's the whole set with all the different colors that come in it. And she used the sheer piece to wrap around here, and then to create a bow. And she did use the Hunky Dory. This is the monochromatic shimmer sparkles. You can see the white going to the black, and just put one on her bow right there. Now the Happy Birthday comes from the die cuts, and let me show that to you. It is, well, here's the Imagination Has No Age. That's been foam taped on top. The Happy Birthday is right here. And she has also matted that on the glitter cardstock. Now, the fairies. So she's added some in here, and they came from that sheet that I showed you that is sold separately. And so you can see, so we've got some sitting, some flying, and she did a nice job of using those. Now, let's go to the inside of our card. So on the front, as I showed you, she used this part of the sheet. So for the inside, she used the other part of the sheet. Clever woman, nothing goes to waste. So she's cut that down, matted it on the glitter. And then also on the front, she used this piece, as I said, right here. And then on here, she cut this strip. So she got the fairy at the bottom as well as the flowers at the top. And I thought that was really clever. And then this is another of the die cuts, and you can see it right here. May all your wishes come true. More fairies. There is a flying fairy, and then more of them sitting, and these two come on the artwork. So there is the whole piece. Really nice. And there are many colors in this, as you're going to see as we go through them. This, of course, is with the green, and that's a nice beginning. Well, let's go to our second card, and this has yellow, as you can see. And this is a slimline card used with our slimline cards, so 3.5 by 8.5. They come with 10 cards and 10 envelopes, so that just makes it super easy. Now this is going into the 12 by 12 papers. So let me show you what she has used. Here is the full sheet, and let me just place this right here, and you can see exactly where she's gone. So while our fairies are tiny, we also have some fairy houses, or at least the doorway to those houses. They're kind of tucked into the flowers. So if you are a fairy fan, like I am, you can use them. If you're not, the garden part is going to work quite nicely for you. So this is the sheet that she's used. And by the way, I'm not giving you dimensions because down below, when you click on each of the cards, you will see that Teresa has written instructions. You can even print them out if you like. So that's going to work very nicely. So that is our piece that's right here. And then she has gone into the chipboard. Now, as I showed you in the beginning, this is what it looks like. And what Teresa did was a two-step process. And I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I'm just going to kind of show you. So she has used the, as I said, in this case, she's using the tri-blend markers. We love those because you get 3 shades of color. And you can kind of see what happens here with the light purple and the darker purple in the center. That works really nicely, having them all in one tube, and you get light, medium, and dark. Same thing with these. Now what she did is she colored them. In fact, I can kind of show you on this side where I did some testing. So I colored them. You might, if you want to pop them out to color them, that's perfectly fine. And then she took, in fact, let me slip something under here to protect my surface, and she used the mister with alcohol solution, and then just spritzed it onto your craft mat, and then take this piece and just dab it into the alcohol. Now you do have to do this a couple of times because it doesn't happen immediately, but as you do it and as it dries, I'm not sure if you can see that, but it will start kind of modeling that image, so it will give it a little bit of texture, as you can see here. Now what Teresa did, I'm going to scoot that away, what Teresa did is then when they were dry, she took our brush sparkle pen. Now this has, let's see, let me scoot it here. It has glitter inside in a liquid form. So she just brushed them on top, and it just gives a bit of shine to the project. So that's a nice thing, and that becomes very popular, especially as we're getting into the Christmas season. And you'll be, I'm sure, using that quite a bit. Now, also on this, she has taken some of those same Dazzle fairies. You can see one, the kind of one that's standing, flying and sitting, and then also by the doorway. And then also she has taken one of the die cuts. So the Thinking of You comes from the collection. And let me see, it is right here. There you go. Just pop it out. It's on cardstock, so she has foam taped it. Then she used the ivory ribbon to create a bow right there. And I'm hoping you can see that because it just does a really nice job of blending in with that gold color, that very soft gold that's right there. She did use one of the little pieces of chipboard to put on top of the bow. Now for the inside of her card, I guess I need to go back to the paper because once again, she's used this area on the front, and on the inside, she has used an upper area, any of this where we have those ghosted back flowers. And actually, I have to say that differently because it's used on the back side. That's where that lace is. So she has used a piece right there. She matted it on the green, and the green, of course, comes from the cardstock, the matching cardstock. Does a really nice job of picking up the colors. Well, of course it does. It was designed to do that. Now, for this area, more of the chipboard that was colored with the tri-blend, then used with the alcohol, and then the glitter brush. She's taken one of the die cuts, so this one, and here's a great example. So many things can be done with this. So you can see that she just cut it into two pieces, letting the curved areas be toward the center of her card. Nice job, Teresa. And then many thanks. Well, that comes from the cutout sheet, and there it is. That's been put down, and more of the fairy dazzles are intermingled with those pieces right there. So that is our second card all ready for us. Now let's go to our third. And the third is another card that is our 6.5 by 5. Teresa did a nice thing here, and of course she did, and she cut it a little differently. So let me open the card for you. The front is going to go like that, and then like that. So it's a gatefold, but it's not an even gate. The gates are two different sizes. So to accomplish that, she took her cardstock that is going to make a 5 by 6.5 inch card, and she opened it flat. And then she measured 1 3/4 inches from the left side and scored it, 3 1/4 inches from the right side and scored it. Then these two pieces are going to get folded, and I would be using a bone folder to make the card, turning it horizontally so you can see how that's going to do a nice job. So that's going to be something to remember, I think. Now, she has covered each of them with part of the pattern cardstock, and let me show you. Well, actually, I didn't forget my bone folder. Okay, good for me. So you do want to do something to secure those folds to really make them stay down, and that's what a bone folder or anything else will do a great job of. Okay, now back to the papers. So what we're going to do is to take this sheet, and this is one of the front sheets that we have, and you can see that she has cut the piece from the edge down at the bottom. She wanted to get that little fairy. Again, if you are not a fan of fairies, you can certainly use the flowers and let them go that way or that way. So you've got lots to do. Just want to make sure that this is for everybody. Now that is at the bottom, that bottom gate. For the top of the gate, she has used this sheet that has flowers all over it. There are a couple of fairies here. There's one in this corner, one down here, but you can cut around them, and that's what she's elected to do, is to cut just a strip to go at the top. Now those were glued strictly onto the card, allowing the card itself to be the mat, and that works very nicely. Now the focal part right here, that has been used with the cutouts. So we have this large one right here, as you can see. She has matted it on our gold cardstock, which is going to be really, really useful. Again, there's multiple sheets in there. And so she matted it there, then also matted it on the light burgundy and the darker burgundy. So there I go, got the darker burgundy right here. And so that piece is going to get attached only at the top of the gate, okay? That way you can open it. That makes sense? Then she did make some accents on it. So this is our gold border Dazzles. You can see there's one there, 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 and there, top and bottom of each of those two gates. And that just does a nice job of being duplicated with the gold cardstock that she used for matting. Now, how about the other gold elements there? Well, as I told you when we began, we do have the never before seen Dazzles in fairies, and that has one that is all a glitter in this gold. Now I know that's really probably popping your eyes, but when you pull each little fairy out, there's an example of the pearl fairies, you can see that they just become an extra little embellishment, and in this case a very pretty gold one. Now the greetings there, that comes from the colorful We're Together Dazzles. So this comes in the black, white, gold, and brown and silver. Gold obviously was used here. My friend is one of the We're Together comments. There's also a little butterfly here, and there's some more inside, and that comes from the 117 butterfly Dazzles. So there's some very large ones, but there are also some small ones in multiple finishes. So that's where that came from. Now, can you see those clear accents? Those, whoops, probably could if I didn't smash that. That comes from a Sparklets, and it is called Coral Coast. They are soft, soft pink and clear. So she has done a drop of the specialist glue there, and just placed them. She's got some more right here into the flowers too. So that does a nice job. Then as we open this, we're going to go into another paper, and you can see that right there. It's one that we used earlier with the yellow background. This is another of the cutouts. And let me show you, it's right here and allows you to do whatever you like. In this case, more Dazzles, another butterfly, more of the border, and that just finishes this lovely card. Okay, 2 more cards to go. And this is the one I showed you in the beginning. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, well, gee, that's interesting. It kind of looks like something's been cut out there, which of course it has. But this is how this easel card works. And I think that is just stunning. I hope you agree. And let me show you how Teresa did this. Now, of course, we have some downloads for you. But let me show you what she's done. And here we go. Now this is our regular 5 by 6.5 inch card. I hope you don't get tired of my saying that, but it's such a good size. First thing she did was to cut 1/2 inch off of both layers. So fold your card in half and then cut 1/2 inch off the right hand side. Then you're going to have more of a square image. Then what Teresa did is to cut away on each side. And she gives us a pattern, and here it is. Here is the card base pattern. So thank you for that, Teresa. And this is, the fold is up there, and then there's one area that you need to score and fold, obviously, because that's going to make the easel part of it. So that is the card base. So after you have this piece cut off, you can use this, cut this out, put it on top, and then trim off those two corners. Now, Teresa has also given us, as she usually does, some patterns. Now, you can see that on this card, this piece, we're going to just cover that top part because that does get seen. It's seen when the card is closed and then also seen when the card is standing. So that is going to be done out of, let me just fold it like this so you can really see it. And she did do her card. You can do it out of black cardstock, although she did add black cardstock. So let me show you what she's done. So this is this paper, which is the front one. We all have loved and fallen in love with this tapestry on top of black. It just looks so rich and beautiful. But what Teresa did is she used this area, and that's really kind of fun. So you see you've got flowers on each side, and that's what she cut to go at the top of her card. So that works quite nicely. Now, for this diamond, she has given us a paper pattern. So she cut that out of black cardstock, and then she also cut another paper out of that same shape. And here it is. This is for the front of her card right here. Now, there is the fairy that we talked about earlier in the 6x6, but this is the area that she's used. And I know that it looks kind of black, but we've got some pieces on top of it. So it is this floral piece, and she has used that pattern. Okay, so that's going to do it. Then you're going to mat it. Okay, then to create this area, so she has taken our square cutting dies, and she has used not only the solid one, but also the scalloped. So for the solid, she put two of the pieces together and die cut out the solid cardstock, and it happens to be this one, as you can see. And then she cut a separate piece out of the scalloped on black and placed that frame on top of it. So really does a really nice job of incorporating so many things. Now, in this case, she has also added a bit more sparkle. So this is the thin line glitter Dazzles. You can see them right up here. There's two layers, two strips. There's another strip all the way around the corners of this diamond. And I love the fact that she had them, because it's a scallop that she used out of the thin line. You can see how that scallop kind of echoes the scallop that she did on the black cardstock. Smart woman. Now, because this is on foam tape, she also did the Believe in Magic, and that is also foam taped. And I love the fact that she put these chipboard fairies on top. And let me show you what she used. She used Versamark, and then she used the silver glitter embossing powder. And that's one of the things that's so nice about the chipboard, is that embossing powders just do such a nice job. Now, you may notice that these are larger than the Dazzles. So there is the fairies, but also a butterfly right there. And there's also some words on it, but she elected to use those three. And they just go right around the Believe in Magic, which is just beautiful right there. Now, for the inside of her card, again, she's given us the pattern for the paper. So here it is, and you can just cut that out, and that is used on that same paper that you used on the front, however, the opposite corner. So there you go. And she turned it like this. So that just worked very nicely. to cut her diamond, her pattern out. Very much looks like a baseball home plate, doesn't it? Now, this is a chipboard dazzle that has been embossing powder. Some of the fairies, now these fairies come from the Never Before Seen collection that I showed you earlier. The silver ones are right there. More of the thin line dazzles, the scallops down here, and then the straight edge up there. So really gorgeous. And of course, the Dream Big is lifted up on foam tape, as you know, because that is going to hold your card upright. And I think it's just quite stunning. So maybe something you want to kind of remember for future. Okay, one last card, and this one is going to use our cutting die. And I'm going to get another white piece to go behind this so you can really see it. Now, in this case, this is a different kind of card, so I'm going to be giving you another pattern. And you can see she kind of rocks a little bit. Well, that's nice. And she does have some of that glitter. So let me show you what that download is going to be. And I have it right here. There we go. So you can see it is an oval. And it does require some cutting and some scoring, as you would imagine. So the straight lines are always cut lines, as you can see. The broken lines are always score lines. And Teresa has labeled them for us, which ones are mountains and which ones are valleys. So that's all taken care of for you. Then on this same sheet, you're going to see some paper patterns because it's Teresa and she always wants to make it easy for us. So she has done her card base out of this burgundy cardstock that is part of the solid cardstock collection. And that's going to do a very nice job. And then for her papers, she's gone back to our 6x6 collection. And here is the one that she used. You can see it's going to be here in the middle, and it has some of the flowers at the bottom. And this is going to be cut out of this pattern, okay? That's going to give you a border that's going to be the card itself. So that's going to work nicely. Now, on top of that, she has taken black cardstock and she used the cutting die twice. So she really wanted a very solid piece there. So, and with this being such a really large focal, it's going to be perfect here or on your 5x6.5 inch cards, or even on your slimline cards. So here she is. So again, she cut 2 layers, and then she took the that glitter brush and brushed over the top of it. So she has some sparkle, and I think you can see that. Now, you know, earlier in our very first project, we Teresa used the black glitter cardstock. I think you could do the same thing when you die cut your fairy with the cutting die. So you've got a couple of options. Now, she doesn't have to be black sparkly. She could be silver glitter. She could be gold glitter. I think pink or purple would be lovely too. But you've got lots of options, and nice for Teresa to share this with us. Now, Teresa did the same thing on this piece of chipboard this piece of chipboard. And let me get my hand back there so you can see her. And then there are some cutouts right here. And this is from that sheet of cutouts that is part of the 6x6 collection. You actually get 4 of these. So you can see the Happy Birthday, which is right here, the Have a Magical Day right here, and the colors all coordinate so perfectly. Now, Teresa did add some flowers, and this comes from 49 Market, the Passion Pink. You get lots of different sizes. She chose the smaller one. Then she used our burgundy ribbon set to go right here. So that's going to come in very, very handy. In fact, I just uncovered, here is what that shape looks like when it's, in fact, I can put this on black and show it to you more easily. So that's from the pattern. You can see mountain folds on 5 places, 2 valleys, and that makes this card. And it will fit in our regular envelopes too. So now we have the side panels, and we also have the inside. So the side panels are using this paper, and you can see that she used this area on each side of it just to give a touch of the flowers. And she's done that on a couple of things with this card collection, and I think that's just really nice and kind of unexpected. She does have a chipboard up there. On the inside, she has this piece, and that is out of the yellow. Again, we saw that in the 12 by 12 earlier with the jewels, the magical jewels coming down. Two more of the cutouts, and you can see how she overlaps them. So we do use some of these and make them without words on them so that you can do just exactly this, and Teresa does a great job. She did choose to mat those on black, and you can see this is how they get cut out. Straight lines, easy to do, and then place, and this one is flat, this is foam tape, a little knotted burgundy ribbon, and some of the thin line dazzles there also. So that completes our projects. I hope you've enjoyed them. So let me just recap. I've got things everywhere on this table. We have our Fairy Garden 12 by 12 cardstock. We have our Fairy Garden 12 by 12 cardstock solid. We've got the 6 by 6. We have the die cuts. We have the chipboard. We have the never before seen fairy dazzles, and we have the regular fairy dazzles, okay? And we have our fairy cutting die. You can say everything is all on trend and all together. I hope you have enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments. And I just want to point out also that if you want to be part of our subscription program, the I Want It All might be just perfect for you. You do get an extra discount, which is always nice. You get the entire collection. And by the way, on the back of every single package, there are ideas that I have not shown you today. So even more ideas to, as we say, jumpstart your creativity. Now, if you want the cutting die, well, we have it in the I Really Want It All subscription. In that case, you're going to get everything. You do get them before the webisode so that you've got all the tools. You can get started creating just immediately, and that's what we want for you. I want to thank you for joining us. If you are watching us on YouTube, please click down below on the Paper Wishes button. Come on over, take advantage of the Money Saver. It's on the right side of your screen. And don't forget, all of the directions are down below. Just click on any of the cards. You'll see the downloads, and you'll see everything that Teresa used and step by step how she created them. And most of all, I want to thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. Bye-bye.